Hi everybody, it's Councillor Glen. It is Tuesday, the 17th of March, which means it's St. Patrick's Day. I wore a green shirt. It's the only piece of green clothing I know. So happy St. Patrick's Day. A St. Patrick's Day today, a little different than most St. Patrick's Days, isn't it? I'm sure you're all at home practicing your social distancing. There's my dog hitting the camera tripod. No, actually, it's a pretty serious situation right now. This morning, the Ontario government enacted a state of emergency. What that does is it puts more formality and more restrictive powers for the government to make sure that non-essential businesses are shutting down, like bars and restaurants. So we've got St. Patrick's Day tonight. If somehow you were thinking you were going to go out for a drink at a local bar, obviously it should be very clear from now, you should not be doing that. And the government now has some more authority to ensure that no restaurants and bars are staying open. Social distancing means that you should only be leaving your house and going out and running an errand to the grocery store or the pharmacy if you really need it. You're still allowed to go outside. By all means, take your dog for a walk, get some fresh air, go for a bike ride. I saw there's some people in the community doing bike rides. It's great to see. But really limit your trips to the store and keep a safe and healthy distance from your neighbors. I'm going to link to a post. There's a great data visualization by the Washington Post that they published on the weekend, and it really shows why it's so important to limit your contact with as many people as possible. They've done kind of a randomization and a data visualization that shows what happens if you have no isolation, what happens if you have complete isolation, and what happens if you have different stages in between. And it just shows crystal clear how limiting your contact with others can help slow down the spread of this very, very serious virus. I'm not going to go into any details in terms of public health other than to remind you to visit ottawapublichealth.ca/coronavirus. That is the source for all the latest Ottawa information. They have a great Instagram feed, a great Twitter feed, lots of information on Facebook, so please check that out. I set up a new page on my website, so if you go to glengower.ca/coronavirus, you will see I'm just collecting all the latest information. It's one thing I found, there's so much information coming through hour after hour. It's really hard to organize, and I think people are having a hard time knowing what to keep up with and what the latest information is. So I'm going to post this video there every day, and I'm also going to collect any the most important piece of information coming from the city and the province and federally as well. Any information that's relevant to people living here in Stittsville. I mentioned yesterday I'm really concerned about people in our community who may be vulnerable for just different reasons. Seniors, for example, or people with a disability. I was really glad to see today that the United Way has started an initiative to make sure that people like that in the community have the support they need. But on a local level, if you have a neighbor, if you have a friend, if you know anyone who could use some outreach, even just someone to talk to on the phone, give them a call or send them an email. Make sure they're okay. My team and I, we're starting some outreach this week with people who we know may have difficulty leaving home or may be confused about the whole situation. So I would really encourage you to look out for your neighbors on that front. On that end, I saw that Brown's Independent, along with a lot of other grocery stores in Ottawa and across Ontario, they're adding some early morning hours exclusively for seniors and people who may have a compromised immune system. It's I think something they're doing that's very important to look out for the most vulnerable people in our community. There's information that I'll share on my website. I think I published it on Facebook and Twitter, but I'll put it on the website as well. My team is actually phoning today each of the grocery stores in Stittsville just to find out if there's any information they want us to share about special hours, about delivery options. I did see the president of Loblaws yesterday was saying they do have a delivery option, but think about it before you use it, because a lot of people who are isolated and really cannot leave the house, they're the ones who need that delivery service the most. So just be cognizant of that, and maybe talk to your local grocery store when you're placing an order before you do that. On a city level, a couple things. The mundane things of city life continue this week. Garbage. We have a regular garbage day, usually Wednesday or Thursday, depending on where you live in Stittsville. That's going ahead as planned, so you can put your items out on the curb tonight or tomorrow morning. The mayor announced today that they're suspending enforcement of residential parking limits. So normally you can't park outside for more than 3 hours during the day. They're not going to enforce that right now. I think there's two reasons. One is just give you one less thing to worry about. I know there's a ton of anxiety and questions about what's going on. Well, you don't have to worry about parking if you need to park your car on the street because you're working from home. The other thing is our bylaw, anyone in our city, they need to be focused on the response to the virus and on essential items. And, if they don't have to respond to residential parking where it's not required, it allows them to focus on more important things and lowers their opportunity for contact in the community as well. So it's all good there. I'm going to wrap it up for now. If you have any questions or anything you're concerned about, please send me an email or add a comment. I'd be happy to answer them there or on a future edition of this daily video message. I do want to really remind people, we're in for 2 or 3 weeks here and possibly more. So make sure you're sleeping, make sure you're eating well, make sure you're exercising, even if it's just a walk around the block. I see the sun is finally coming out today. Get outside. It's really good for your physical health, really good for your mental health. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.